Hello guys and welcome back to the SA DPC Division 1. We're here still watching the wonderful Thunder Awaken versus SG Esports. First game went the way of Thunder Awaken, but SG Esports still has a chance to come back into the series and force a game number 3. Will they be able to do that? We're going to have to see as we go into the draft of game 2. For the first fans, very similar things that we saw before. Nobody wants to play against these kinds of like, this is what happens like Thunder Awaken. You play against Band as a Batten and you go, I didn't know this hero was so strong. Fuck that guy and never. What a position.
Thunder Predators turn to pick.
LT just Snapfire. Sexy fat. Did you find a lot of impact of the Snapfire? These is the only team I've seen that's still playing her as like a consistently as a 4 and doesn't flex her too much.
Last game I did not see. I felt like she needed a setup for Mart Marquise. Like some Spirit, or like Void Spirit, or Ember, or even a Blinkstone Hero, Centaur, something like that.
He definitely felt like he didn't work so well with the Bruce Spirit, the Bruce split. Yeah, but at the same time, I think if they were able to take the early advantage better, make it count more from the lanes, then maybe she would have had a better game. But this time they open with the Snap plus the Monkey King. Monkey King can kind of help set up some of the ganks with the stun in the early game.
My question is actually more along the Mars. Last game you were telling me about the whole nerf to Mars, and now Centaur seems more desirable. Why did they choose to go for Mars this game particularly?
Maybe flex pick for them, and Dark Mago do it, and Secret do it too. Centaur, I don't think they can flex it.
Oh right, so that's the idea behind it. Do you think the Mars mid is still viable with the stun nerfs, or is that doesn't really matter for mid?
I think it's still doable, and Dark Mago does a great Mars too, so I think he can manage it.
Yeah. And the Pugna, Winter, you complained last patch about how strong the hero was. Do you feel like he's still in that same position?
Not so much. He got nerfed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think he still has his uses in the game. I think depending on the player, does he like to play the hero, and how does he feel the hero is right now? And Pogba is definitely like one of the heroes that's quite similar to. If you're looking for a replacement for a Baden, he kind of does the same job in the team fights. You keep the carry alive, but on top of that, you have that ward, which got nerfed like what 5%. The aura. It's still pretty useful, but not as good as before.
Right. But you lose the scouting factor the pattern has, right? Where you can run into the enemy and tank a gank. Pugna's not so good at that.
Yeah, Pugna's definitely not as good as a Baden for that. Yeah, he does make up for other things like D-Crab, especially the ward. His laning phase is also still pretty good.
What do you think of the... Oh, go ahead.
If they put this Monkey King hard carry, like there's always gonna be the interaction that if someone gets in the middle of the command Wukong, we'll just get the group fight. Really like the Pugna pick here.
That's good. That's good.
You kind of have to go on him first as the monkey, I think, in most of the fights. I mean, you can just wait for... I think Pugna is one of the few heroes that as a core you really have to take him out first in the team fights.
Right. Can they pick up a mid laner that could do that as well, Winter? Could that be an option for Faker here for SG Esports?
Yeah, they can do that. Like what Diego mentioned, like with Snapfire, you kind of want to have like one of the spirits, and I think Ember Spirit is probably one of the more preferred one, like someone that you can set up for your spells. And the spirits are also suitable heroes that can jump the Pugna in the back line.
5 seconds remaining.
We'll see if that's what they decide to. They're banning some of the more SG Sports heroes, Frank's Brewmaster, Faker's Invoker, seeing what else they're going to do with... there's the Puck as well. He is very much like Malo, but with the Space Creators when it comes to his hero pool. Kodo was definitely a new addition to it. Thunder Awaken. We'll see how they shape their draft here. Probably not going to reveal, so it's going to be a 4.
SG Esports turn
Ogre for now.
Oh.
Maybe Pugna 4? Yeah.
Interesting. That's wild, right? I haven't seen Pugna 4 in forever. What team was... I think it was Outsiders that was running Pugna 4 kind of consistently. I've never seen another team do it.
Saksa played Pugna 4 as well.
Ah, it was Saksa too. Yeah, okay. Well, what are the strengths of Pugna 4 over 5, Winter?
I think the hero that's definitely like he would love to have some some more farm, some more levels, and giving him that is definitely gonna amplify what he can do in the team fight. And on top of that, because I mentioned he's a pretty good laner, like having that move speed and you can harass pretty well for the off laner. So his laning phase is still pretty strong. He's a good laner. So I think all in all, he's still a very solid position for hero.
Okay, and
speed up the game a bit. Like he's always gonna be next to the enemy safe tower, so he will blast since from the beginning of the game. It gives some pushing also on this Pugna 4.
do you find that the Ogre 5 sets up for some sort of carry that could deal with the Monkey King well? What carries could be really using the steroids there?
We saw today Medusa against Monkey King, right, in the King Wolf game. It worked right well.
There's the Marcy for SG. This is the second. Actually, the other team to try it in SA was Thunder Awaken, which they lost with.
Marcy is so good against the Mars. Like arena, you spur someone, Marcy just take out of the arena. If she has lands, of course. Super good. And it's a hero to get on top of Pugna too.
Yeah, and keep her as well now as their mid laner once again for Faker. Blows up the Pugna relatively easily. We did see pretty good success for them.
Yeah, this time they have set up. The last game they had Enchantress Snapfire. This time they have a spell. They have a hero that can help them set up stuff. I mean, Kotter would love to have that kind of hero in the game as well to help him land his blasts and do damage.
Marcy also has save for him, right? To a degree, we're just disposing him to safety, so it's harder for them to catch up to him like they did last game.
Yeah, in the previous series, I think the hero was banned quite a lot, and today he's like totally ignored until this game.
Yep. Yeah, people have kind of realized that it's not as strong as it seems, mainly due to the win rate being pretty bad. You pick up a mid laner.
She kind of needs like lands to be effective in the game.
Wait, what? Lands?
Aether lands.
Aether lands.
Oh, I thought you meant like she's better at land. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Sexy Fat, what are your thoughts for Thunder Awaken here? I was gonna ask you for their mid laner, but it's gonna be Lesh again. Did you like that idea last game against them?
Of picking Lesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it worked quite well. They pick with Abaddon, which is a good cover, and now they have the Pugna also, so they stick with a cover hero with their Lash. I think they play very well in this composition.
5 seconds remaining.
It's interesting, right, that like Lash last game was picked 8th, right? Or first phase for sure. And they picked the Coddle and the Monkey into it. And this time they're picking Lash into Monkey and Coddle, so, is it just because they're like... It's just a good
because Dark Mago just plays so well this hero that he thinks there's no counter, or at least these two heroes doesn't counter him. I believe that's it. He just has so much confidence on his Lash Rock.
I think Lash Track is just, I think, in a very good place now in the meta. With the patch as well, with the changes and everything. I feel like the hero is definitely gonna be picked more. He does so much in the game for you. He has a pretty solid laning phase. I mean, I think it's pretty hard to punish him. Like I would say, like maybe a hard counter would be like something like an AM, but we don't really see much of AM nowadays in the game.
10 seconds
Yeah, fair enough. SG still... Is it possible still to flex this Monkey King in a different position? Or are they kind of committed to the Monkey King carry if you're SG?
You're talking about Monkey off lane?
I don't know. Could they run like Monkey 4 perhaps? Snapfire off lane? Is that possible?
Thunder Predators turn to
And then pick a carry here?
Yeah, they can put Monkey 4, Snap 3, Marcy 5, and pick a hard carry.
Right.
I believe.
Would that work? 'Cause it just seems like the monkey king kind of got countered last game pretty heavily. It wasn't even the PA. Or are you looking for an offlaner here?
5
I
seconds.
mean,
I
they banned
kinda-
2 hard carries.
SG Esports.
They may be
turn to
thinking
pick.
to just let Monkey hard carry. There's no much hard carries in pool, right? So I don't think they have too many options.
So you pick an offlaner here that can cover you. What are the weaknesses then you're covering? Oh,
Center.
Centaur versus Mars. Interesting.
Almost the same
Yeah.
lineup, except for the
Yeah.
Enchantress. They figured that was the problem.
And for Case here for Thunder Awaken.
5 seconds remaining.
What are your thoughts there, Winter?
I kind of like maybe some Jug Lifestealer with the Bloodlust.
Chuck Leicester. That's interesting.
Yeah, those heroes are pretty good against the Cotto Snapfire.
Don't they struggle
you-
against
you-
the monkey though?
Yeah, not so good against the monkey, but I like it for
Mm.
their composition.
Okay, fair enough.
They need
Can they-
cause...
Can go ahead.
No, sorry, you go ahead.
Can they pick PA again? Yeah, I would call Morphling, but no one ever speaks Morphling, so I think just PA again.
And Picasa is a good Morphling player though. I think it's his best hero, right?
Yeah. I think he plays well too, but I never seen him play.
Oh,
Seeker.
it's actually a pretty
Okay.
good pick. Yeah, the Rupture against the Centaur out.
Yeah. Centaur's pretty heavily countered. The Dispose also
Yeah.
no longer a save because of Rupture, of course. It's pretty good. What are your final thoughts here, seeing the Bloodseeker pick? Do you feel like it deals well, the monkey as well? Does the tempo now favor Thunder a little bit?
I think the late game is more for SG this game, and
Mhm.
now they have ways to have good fights. They have good initiation, good follow-up damage. So I don't know. I feel like both drafts are good, but I still favor Thunder. I think they're better players.
That's fair enough. Winter, what about you?
This time I think I kind of like to be in SG's shoes a little more compared to Thunder Awaken's lineup. Just solely by lineup, disregarding the players and everything. I think that they have what they were missing in the previous game, the setup for their heroes. So it's practically the same lineup except for Enchantress. But I think this Marcy could be a difference maker in this game. So I'm going to go with their lineup more.
All right, we're gonna have to see if SG is capable of forcing a game 3, like Winter might be suggesting, to the chagrin of some people. But through the corner, actually Fat Thunder can take a 2-0. Who is going to be able to win this second game? We're gonna have to see as we go over to our casters, myself and Dota 2 Bowie.
这波不亏，这波不亏。
Hey, Bowie.
666
Hello.
Bowie, mate, I'm just gonna presume you're muted.
I am the ghost of Bowie. Hello.
Were you muted?
No, no, I was not muted.
No, you just were not talking. You weren't
Yeah,
answering me at all. That's what you
Yeah,
chose
you
to do.
know, I'm reading a lot on how to speak better and pauses. You know, dead air it creates suspense, makes people drawn to it. So I was just
Yes,
yes.
Yes, I agree. Especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning of the match. Yeah,
Especially
think
when
it's a
I
really
get
good call.
called by name,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. All right. Bowie has never ever muted himself in a broadcast.
Not really. Also, I have never like missed first blood.
No, that's for sure. So what are your thoughts on the drafts? I like this Bloodseeker pick personally a lot.
Yeah, I think Bloodseeker is still a hero that is a little bit underpicked in South America. Like, sure, like K1, there's definitely carries
Yeah.
going for it sometimes, but I feel like the hero is really good. Oh, okay. Hello.
Well,
First
as
blood
we
again.
say this, there we go. You know, it's tradition. If Thunder Awaken does not give out the first blood, are they really Thunder Awaken?
Already, they have to awaken first, and we're
Stop,
not there
Bowie.
yet.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Stop, Bowie. Stop.
I'm sorry. I just
Tell me about the Bloodseeker. Tell me about the Bloodseeker, Bowie. It's okay. We're gonna move over that.
I mean, the hero's just good. Like, look at Blood Ray. It's 120 damage pure. Like, you never miss range creeps. The mana cost is very low. The hero
That's
has
true.
good base damage. He has sustaining
true.
lane. There's very few things he doesn't have. A stun is one of the few things he doesn't have.
Yep.
So, it's a good hero.
Doesn't scale as well as some other carries, but I think people underestimate how good a Bloodseeker can be like 40 minutes in, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well,
No,
I
Pacasa
think
will
we
do the second
jinxed
blood
again.
Too?
Yeah.
Are they not awakened yet? Okay, there we go. He's awakened. He's out.
Yeah, he's gonna have to awaken in the fountain for. Oh, that's so sad. He's gonna miss a wave 100% because he has to walk base and TP. That's so sad. Look at him.
Yeah, it's very sad. Camera guy, please follow. Please follow Bloodseeker.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Can you showcase him so you can see his sadness? There we go.
Oh my
look how sad it is,
God.
Look,
Yeah.
look how sad this is.
We can't
He's-
see
he
his
can't
face
even
because he has
walk
the
straight.
mask. Yeah, it's awful. But
Oh.
yeah, look at that. He's missing
Oh.
creeps.
Oh, he got a salve just so he can come to lane in time.
He missed the
Now
creep.
we see him in lane. He did. He missed pretty much a whole lane, Bowie. Oh, and then he blood righted just to try to get a range creep that was never going to be his to begin with, Bowie.
That was my pub. He would be writing GG right now. GG
Yes,
report
yes.
support, no salve. When literally
You
like
also play in US East. I didn't know.
yes, I do from time to time when you know right after my therapist session, because then I know I'll be that's my peak. Oh, I'm lagging. Sorry. That's when you know I'm peak mentally. So that's usually when I like to play US East.
That's true. The Abyss. It truly is. Okay.
Anyways, this
Let's look
bottom
at this
lane,
lane.
I've
Oh, bottom lane. Okay, let's
Upper
look at bottom.
bottom.
No, let's look at bottom. Yeah.
yeah, I actually really like this. Oh, hello. Ogre's dead
Bowie,
top.
God damn it! You said look at bottom and look what happened. Like,
I just
tell me
wanted to talk
tell
about the
me-
Pugna. You
No, tell
felt
me about
surprised
top.
about the Pugna.
Tell me about
Okay.
top. Bowie.
It's just strong, right? The classic Centaur Snapfire, which is
Yep.
the old Centaur Tiny.
Yes.
It's just really
I'm
strong.
glad you mentioned that. You're so right.
Yeah.
And
It's like
I think it's tough because it directly counters what Bloodseeker is good against, right? Like, Bloodseeker deals well with harassers, but he's really bad against kill potential, like this, right? If there's a threat of killing him, Bloodseeker doesn't really have much escape or anything against that. He just kind of walks away if he's good enough.
definitely a lane where, like, I was surprised by his skill build going for 3 slippers. It definitely makes him a little bit more squishy instead
I
of
agree.
the circlets.
Yep.
But this is a kill.
On Centaur. This is a kill on
Should
Centaur.
be.
Right? Right? LTH. Oh, LTH kind of fat. Body blocking. There's the fire blast. There we go. Screw your body blocking. Do we have a host stun? Paka's gonna die? No. They don't get the last hit for Paka, so he doesn't heal that much, but he heals a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now we can talk about your precious bot lane, Bowie.
Yes. So Mars, after he gets his OT, he does so much damage if the target is decrepified, and because there's no Jug or Lifestealer, as Winter talked about, it is just insane damage until there's a BKB. So I think it's a really good combo. It does get wonky because sometimes, you know, Pugna decreps so that the Mars can go in. He uses W, and the W is physical. But besides that, it's good lane.
Okay, let me talk mid. By the way, feel free to stay at top if you're seeing kills. And Bowie is just gonna talk whatever he wants to talk about, but don't worry about that.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is this
top
Lesh versus Scuttle lane?
Oh, I mean, you want me to talk about literally the lane that was going on last game? It's a farm fast. KXY, he hits these harpies, and then the Shrek hits the small cam, and you know, they might fight for runes, but I don't think they will.
Okay, thank you for that. That's very informative. I've never heard that analysis before, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is like the pinnacle of you know, gameplay skill. And,
Yeah, Lesh
everything
Coddle-
that mid laners think they are. You know.
That's true, actually. Lesh Coddle is how teams used to test their mid laners before. they get their support to play Lesh against them, and they play Coddle
like,
mid.
You think of mid laners in the past, and it's all the Chet's Shadowfin players and, you know, the Puck players.
The Quaps,
and now
yeah.
it's the Shrek Kato, dude. What in the world are we living?
what's happened to this mid lane. It's like some people are like, I'm a spirit player, and it's like I'm an old man player. I just play heroes that go on 4 legs and are ancient. Anyway, yeah. Oh, you know, the player that used to do this was Super. Remember the Chinese player Super, the mid laner?
True.
He invented the playstyle of I refuse to play the lane. He was the DP spammer.
I do. He was once known for not being as mechanically gifted as some other players. Apparently.
Yes, that's what they used to say about him. So he learned to play Morphling, and that was his 3rd hero. And they're like, all right, mechanically gifted my ass. Oh. I wanted to touch on the Bloodseeker point that you made though, because I've seen, in my opinion, when you go against a kill lane like this, that the better build for a Bloodseeker is actually to go 1 Wraithband, 1 Bracer, and that way you like actually survive the kill threat combo. Would you agree with that? Have you seen that a little bit?
Not really, but
Really?
I do like the concept of the bracer actually, because you know we actually do see a fair amount of Wraith bands on Pudge nowadays. Like, look at the offlaners. I do feel like people miss a lot on the synergy of going one of those basic items in a hero that is not really the main stats that he's from, right? So Wraith bands on strength heroes, no talisman on like Shadow Fiend. I guess it used to be popular when he gave spell damage. Oh my lord, that's a deadly Shrek.
You know what's interesting about it is that most of those items, I think Wraithband is probably the. Well, Wraithband is also that, but especially Bracer, they're anti-synergistic to themselves, right? And by what I mean with that, so. Okay, that was nothing. I thought that was gonna turn into a play, but that was nothing. They're just playing. There's a play up top though. Makas, there you go. Double edge, and he's dead. So, for example, the idea with Bracer, like some items are synergistic in Dota, where the stats the item provides complement each other, right? And some items are not. And in the case of Bracer, they're actually the opposite, because you gain a lot of HP, but you also gain a based HP region. A good example is Heart. Heart is synergistic in itself, right? Because your HP region is percentage based, and you get more strength.
Okay.
So you increase both, right? Whereas with Bracer, because it's a base HP region, and then you get strength, that base HP region is worse because you got the strength, right? So the more Bracers you get, actually the less efficient each of those individual Bracers becomes.
One could say that, yes.
Yeah, so that's the point as to why the Bracer Wraithband is so popular. Obviously, that's not what players think about only, right? But it's a point of analysis when you look at like just math alone. Like statistically speaking, you don't want to stack Bracers if possible.
Yeah, it makes sense. Usually, 2 is probably the
max,
the highest amount you see, and even then, you don't see it that often.
Yeah, that's why you see like triple null or triple Wraithband, because they're better to stack than say triple Bracer, which is much less common.
Radiant's middle tower is under
True.
attack.
I mean, since we're talking nulls,
Yeah.
one thing that I want to ask you: have you cast any ODs so far? Because I was like very
you thought the
hyped for
OD?
this no OD thing. Yeah, I haven't cast a game yet.
That's interesting.
Dire's middle
Maybe.
tower
I can see that. I never thought of that actually when I saw the changes. I just thought, oh, Storm's dead. That's what I thought,
Yeah, I mean that hero. Did you know, by the way, that the changes they're fake actually? Like not fake, but they got
the Storm
reverted.
changes. Yeah, they got reverted. I saw that.
yeah.
Sacred. There's the fight combo we were talking about, but unfortunately the crap just ended. Oh, you can't rebound out of arena. And Witch just figured that out. Psychic is not going to help Witch live. Matthew, though, is ready to die. He actually walked towards Faker just to give a little bit of vision before his puny body was sacrificed to the gods.
Yeah, pretty good arena. Looks like Mars still looking pretty
Fine.
good. Now
Pakaz.
Pakaz though,
Yeah, Soulfight is a nuisance. He got wrecked there. The magical damage from Coddle and Monkey King is too high.
not another game where Pakaz not having the greatest lane. 0-3, man.
Yeah, and that's not what you pick a Bloodseeker for, right? You kind of want to win the lane with that.
Yeah, exactly. Granted, I don't think it's the easiest Bloodseeker lane, but there were definitely a couple of, even the mid one where he missed like 2 waves. That is definitely not ideal.
Look at his build as well, Bowie. Look at Bloodseeker's build this game. He went for 1-1-3, right? Which is like the I am desperate and I'm struggling to exist build. Like the optimal build for a Bloodseeker carry is always 2-1-2, right? Because that's the maximum amount of efficiency you can get to farm later on. But because his lane was so difficult, he couldn't go for that, and now recovery is even harder as well.
Oh no.
And they get him a second time. Oh no, or third or fourth, I can't even count anymore. Blood Right used, okay, Rupture, but he's gonna die because he wanted to have more impact. At least he'll get a counter kill against the Mars. They're gonna try to give it to him, or against the Centaur, sorry. But unfortunately, Sacred Spear was a little bit too strong, and they couldn't give the kill to Bloodseeker. He takes them instead.
I'm very confused.
Oh no!
Marcy.
There's Dispose. Rebound, they avoid at least that Illuminate. And Matthew couldn't get the Crep in time.
Yeah, I mean, you watch Naruto, right? You're a weeb. Can you actually understand the reference if I go for it?
Sure, I will. Yeah, 100%. I've read the whole thing.
Okay. All right. So, Rock Lee. Do you remember the arc where he like uses the fifth gate or whatever to fight Gaara? Then he almost wins, but he loses,
Yeah,
and then
the
he's
Chunin
like
exams.
wounded. Yeah, and he's wounded for like 50 episodes or something. I feel like that's
yes.
Pakas. Like he unleashed all of his power. He awakened, you could say, during the major, and now he is fighting on a disadvantage because he used like forbidden powers.
Oh, okay. But who's Kimimaro? Who's gonna get Pakas to fight back? That Hector?
Maybe. But I think no, Hector is too important to be Kimimaro, right? That wouldn't be fair to Hector, I think.
So the other
Maybe-
question is, if according to your story, does that mean that Pakas has to start drinking and playing drunk, and that's how he's gonna regain his confidence?
Maybe he is drunk right now. I am not.
You're not certain.
I
Yeah, you
can't really.
check.
Yes, I can say that for sure. But
Sure.
he's going Midas, dude. That is like full despair mode right now.
Oh no, Midas Bloodseeker, bro. That's you remember back in the day when someone was like, guys, Midas Bloodseeker is so good because you like can kill a creep and that gives you full regen.
Yeah.
And that was
Yes.
and it was like a build for a while, and Bloodseekers would go Midas Radiance. And then people realized, why am I doing this when I could just go Maelstrom?
Why am I making my life so much worse?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is a game where farming makes sense, so I don't mind. The Midas, his lane is as bad as it gets. Like
Yeah.
in pro games, even in like stomps, you don't see a carry this underfarmed. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably, I think he's gonna learn stats. You probably max Blood Rage, get stats. Don't even max Thirst or Blood Rage. I wouldn't be surprised if he.
I think you want to max Thirst and Blood Rage, but I agree with the Blood Rage point. I honestly don't think the points in Blood Rage are that good anymore. The early talents for Bloodseeker are pretty good though, because you get the attack speed on Blood Rage, which is like pretty decent for farm.
Oh yeah. He will get that for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely better than 2 stats.
Yes, exactly. No, because Blood Rage allows you to fight, right? It's just you're right. Blood Rage is just too good a skill, personally.
Like if you're snowballing, it can be good, but if you're just going to AFK farm, you don't have the mana pool to like use that as a farming tool, unfortunately.
That's true. That's one of the issues. Like, it used to be the case that Bloodseekers used to go for maxing blood, right? If they had stacks, right? And that was like the one case scenario where you have like someone who provides you clarities, and like you take stacks of blood, right? But as a farming tool, it's pretty bad.
And there was a
Blood
time
Rage is
where Thirst was worst as like a move speed sort of thing, so you would go even treads on Bloodseeker sometimes, and then you could tread switch the blood right. That was pretty decent. But with phase boots, no Aquila, you just don't have the mana.
Yeah, but now it's exactly. Now it's not even worth it to do that anymore.
Yeah, SG once again not really, because they literally repeated their draft without the Enchantress. They have even less push. So I kind of feel like Thunder Awaken's gonna do the same thing. They're gonna AFK farm. SG's gonna struggle to really pressure this tier 1 mid to really do anything with the kills that Kata will get. And Thunder Awaken, even if they do betting lanes, I feel like they have the better macro game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Do you mean that as a team, or do you mean that as the draft specifically?
With this draft, yeah, because there's no pressure for SG.
Okay.
Like if they're just going to trade farm, I just feel like eventually Thunder Awaken will beat it. Like if they had like a Beastmaster, if they were taking tier 2s right now, then there's
Yep.
definitely like, well, can Bloodseeker even farm a BKB? Will he be ready to fight? I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Like he even has Bloodlust. He is recovering, albeit very slowly. He even stopped going for Midas, so that's a good sign.
Is under attack.
Yeah, that's a very good sign. I honestly prefer Maelstrom, right? The only case to be made for Midas and why it's a good recovery Midas is if you feel like the farm has to be given all to Leshrac, right? And then you can't take that any more farm. So Midas at least increases the amount of gold in the map, and Maelstrom doesn't do that, right?
Is under attack.
Definitely, that's true. Also, can sometimes be good against some sort of creep heroes. Even Enchantress, Chan, all that.
Yeah, it's true.
Not the case this time though.
Like Beastmaster, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I do think that in general, like when people buy that, it's like, all right, you just bought a 2,000 gold item to counter one of my spells. Sometimes, once every 2 minutes. It's
a lottery ticket, and the odds are not in your favor.
yeah, it's not very good. It's not very good. It's like an actual lottery ticket, like a real one.
Yeah.
All right, smoke from SG. We haven't really talked about them. I was expecting them to make more plays, to be honest with you, Bowie, but they haven't really done much, which has allowed Thunder to recover pretty nicely.
Yeah, like there is a good advantage for SG, but it's been flat for a while, and it's very similar to what happened game 1. It really.
Oh, smoke on smoke. Another ward just got used, which is pretty good, but that Hope Stomp was great onto 2. These supports are going to die. The question is, how long do they take? Apparently long enough for Mars to come and help him, and they get a kill on LTH. Frank TP's in the middle of this. Witch is still stuck. Pakas comes in with a Rupture, absolutely hates Witch, who does try to get away with a Dispose. Not gonna TP in the middle of this, leaving Monkey King to potentially die. Faker fighting with them. And it seems like they're gonna be fine. Thunder Awaken can't turn this into a kill. Like Malo seeks the opportunity, baits the monkey, and Berna is Bernie dead.
Yeah, that was wishful thinking. Once again, it was like an okay fight for SG, and they overextend with that Monkey King going back. I think they were fine with the Monkey King living, but he even has a ward, so it's very odd to me that knowing that the other heroes were there, that he actually goes for it. If he had Boundless ready, he could get the Jingo and just kill the Lash, but it was 10 seconds on cooldown.
Pakas. All right, Dispose and Hope Stomp is all they needed. However, Mars is here to at least kill Marcy, but he is gonna ignore Marcy and instead go for the Centaur, because he wants to go for the big prize, the offlaner, the Curify to set up for Dark Malo's kill. And we continue. It's not bad, right? Like, they're getting okay trades, and it seems like, much like last game, they're playing with Dark Malo as their win condition more than Pakas.
Oh yeah, Dark Mago 100% being the win condition both games. Now, one thing we didn't really talk about is the interaction with Marcy and Monkey King. That, 60 damage, 50% lifesteal, it's really powerful. When this Monkey King actually gets his BKB, I feel like taking fights will be really hard if they're even. She even maxed Sidekick on Witch. But, for Roshan, you usually would look at this draft, you wouldn't really think they can Rosh, but with that, it's really easy for them to force it.
No, it would be hard though if they lose the Coddle and Snapfire here. We're trying to create space for them. Snapfire is happy to tank this gank. The Spear will give vision of her. Oh, now they have no way to cancel this though. Okay, Snap is out, and so is Faker, right? Oh, he's
the
not.
same ward. That's the ward that killed KXY last time.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Same ward.
Faker, buddy! They used the splitter to get to him, and did he not have TP?
He was TPing, but they knew where he was because of the Observer ward.
No. Like before that, like when he just stood there for like a solid 10 seconds while Snapfire was TPing, he could have gotten away. Why didn't y'all TP then?
Yeah, but
was he not cool
was
then?
like, they have no vision of me. I'm under the guise of these streets. So
yeah, but what's the? When pro players do that, I don't understand. Like, what's the goal of staying there for 10 more seconds? What do you accomplish with that?
I mean, he can maybe decide to cut a wave if they try to go for tier 1.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always maybe if someone stays in lane, he's in position for someone to TP to that tower and connect.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's
Thank
those
you,
little
bro.
things.
Oftentimes, do you think that's the correct play? To like stay for a little longer and see if you can make a play out of it?
I mean, it's
Your
that
expert
thing. Like
opinion.
if he TPs out, then he cannot make any plays, right? So you keep your options open when you don't TP because you kind of give your teammates an opportunity to kind of do stuff. But wait a second.
Oh, yeah,
Time for
wait,
fights.
indeed. Sacred. They set up the arena. Sacred
Oh my
will
lord.
be killed off in the middle of his arena. Not the start they were looking for. The supports are just going to be fodder here for SG to take down. And Thunder realized very quickly that was not a fight they wanted to take. And now they give a free Roche to the enemy. We talked about the Roche earlier, Bowie, or you talked about it. We're going to see it happen.
All right. Yeah, that's gonna be a really quick Roach. This time they actually fought on Thunder with no vision. Actually, both teams didn't have vision. They just placed out the SG1 in the cliff on their right side. And yeah, I feel like SG they kind of were sloppy with vision game 1. You know, Kato dying twice with that ward. I think they should have probably learned that Thunder knows that is a spot KXI is gonna use a lot. So if they can kind of iron those things out, start fighting with better vision, they know they can win this game. Because this Bloodseeker, like in a normal match, he shouldn't be allowed to win. You know, usually carries can afford 2-3 deaths. He had 4 deaths at 11 minutes on Fakas. So, you know, it's either going to be Dark Mago carrying really, really hard, or SG not really using the advantage to the fullest here.
No, that's no good.
BKB almost completed on Pakaz. I think he just got a creep enough to finish it off. Let's see how that works out.
There we go.
Let's see it deliver on the courier now. As Berna does have the movement speed bonus from the spell or from the rebound. Hit once by the fire blast, now by the splitter. Panda though is tanking this gank apparently. Stampede has been committed though as Frank TPs. Rupture is not gonna be able to punish him in front, unfortunately. BKB still available on this Bloodseeker though. The lack of Rupture is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Really good for Thunder that they, even with Aegis, they were able to stop SG in their tracks, kind of just waste Aegis timing. You know, the center TP to the fountain instead of the tier 1. So that's some precious Aegis timing that SG is losing, but they finally go for smoke. Let's see if they can get a couple of juicy kills. They do get the scan on Dark Mago.
Dark Mago. If he's got it here, this would be huge TP. Can they get him in time? They do! That TP is cancelled, and Dark Mago has been cancelled as well.
Yeah, TP in front of a wave.
And,
Sometimes
was coming to
happens.
save him? Oh, he's actually gonna get away with this. Okay. That's not bad. Another Glimmer Cape just in case. Bloodlust Sacred. Leave.
Alright, so that is a free tier 1 tower for the center and the bottom side of the map. I think
Yep.
they want to get this tier 2 on Berna. Build decent amount of Aegis duration. Oh, be careful.
Is under attack.
Be
That
careful
Monkey King
indeed.
has vision.
Vision! The spear didn't work because the BKB, Pakaz though saved by the Glimmer Cape is forced to activate his own BKB. We do hear Rupture. And the Rupture is going to be for Witch. They just want to get rid of the Marcy first, but those Mortimer's cases are a nuisance. And Sacred, it's killed off by those. Thunder just wanted a quick kill. That's what they're going to get at best here. TP from the Lesh. Dark Mago is going to be leading this once again. Berna wants to attack him. I think he might just lose the Aegis. Underestimate the Crepify. Dark Mago now activating his own BKB. There's no BKB on Berna. Berna used it earlier, which means the arena is set up for him. Bloodmire is going to hit. Berna has just been killed off. And Snapfire, just as quickly as she came in, she will be sent back home in a coffin.
Yeah. I don't know. That play from Burn is just really odd. He did the same thing twice. The 2 deaths
Yep.
that he had were so impactful.
Oh no, Faker. Oh no, Faker. Faker, buddy, no. That's the wrong way. Oh, Faker, don't. Just reveal the smoke. Sacred's being glimmered. Sacred's going. Witch will tank this for his team. Oh, Witch, what a support. He's gonna tank this as from behind. The Centaur just trying to kill off Dark Mago. Dark Mago will barely survive this. He's not gonna die just yet. Witch did die though in the backlands. Life renews and Dark Mago comes in with a vengeance. Brings down Frank. Faker, he's been stuck to the tree. God's rebuke to slow him down. Faker, there's a Rupture on him. Has the TP with a BKB. The body blow from Sacred. He can't get to him. Fuck guys. Just needed one auto attack, but Mars is too fat, Bowie. He didn't let him through. Also the solar
I mean, yeah, that was the BKB nerf right there. It was 5 seconds on cooldown. So in the old patch, the Kato was dead 100%, and Makas. Still, dude, I feel like Thunder is just on another level. You know, these small mistakes maybe wouldn't be punished as hard if it was a different team. But SG, even though they crush the lanes again, it feels like slowly but surely Thunder Awaken is taking everything back.
It does. But to be honest, it's only a 1k lead, right? I mean, look, the graph seems very dire, but it's because the Never team didn't have a huge lead yet, right? You're still up against a Monkey King. Unlike the PA, there's not a guaranteed late game for Thunder. So SG could totally still come back, but they need to have good team fights. The problem, it seems like to me, is the Coddle is just not scaling. Well, I mean, that's what Coddle does.
Yeah, the Kato is a weird hero. I think he went for this different build, which I kind of like a little bit more. Makes him a little tankier. But this BKB, like, I didn't see that much value out of it. Oh,
Ooh.
Marcy.
Wish? Oh, we just saw the value there when we TP'd Bowie. That was the value.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Oh, Dark Milo is crazy. He sees 4, he's like, oh, perfect, more kills for me. 4 versus 1 seems easy. What a spear! Oh my god, they got the monkey! And now with a splitter, no! It was a split second too late. Berna is capable of TPing. Frank will not be so lucky, but that spear almost settled Berna's life.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's
Right.
top tower is under attack.
Sacred, pretty good player, I heard. Look at Panda. Sucking on all of his teammates, making sure...
That's not
You're-
Pat, that's Matthew.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what a disrespectful thing. You think Panda's ever sucked anything?
Chocolate for sure.
No. He tears
Have
right
you-
through the chocolate. I saw him eat it, and it's just like a... You ever seen a meat grinder? That's what Panda's teeth look like when he just puts the chocolate in his mouth. It's just like rotate at incredible speeds.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Panda's mom was a shark, actually.
But by the way, I gotta say, like that chocolate that you gave him and that we had on in Sweden, that chocolate was so good. I actually dream
That's not the
about that
chocolate I
chocolate
gave.
every day. I know.
That's not the chocolate I gave.
It's. I bought like a.
No, it's not the chocolate I gave him.
Oh, it's not. Which one did you give him?
That's what I'm telling you. I got him chocolate from Malaysia that was blessed by a shaman.
No, okay, but
That's what he was
the
asking
only
for.
chocolate you ever gave him?
Yeah, it was blessed by a shaman. And you know how hard it is to get that?
I mean, it's not a. Is it a real shaman though?
Yeah, it was a shaman, like a real shaman from Borneo, dude. Respect him.
And a diploma?
I don't think shamans get those.
Okay.
Mars. In trouble, Sacred sets up the arena, Split Earth to help him, but LTH gets him. However, LTH will pay for his sins, and it seems like they want the enemy offlaner as well, but they need a stun for this. They get the Yule Scepter off, well, they will try. Centaur is up in the air, down on the ground, Hofstam to get away, but unfortunately a Bloodseeker is not something you get away from.
Oh, that's no good.
He did, he went to Shaman University. He actually had a Shaman Master's degree.
Sounds very legit.
Yeah, that was legit, yeah. He showed me his accreditation.
And when did you give the chocolate?
The major, the beginning of the major, when they won the group stages, and then they run out of chocolate and they lost to OG. Coincidence? I think not.
I see. I mean, at least we will have that event in Malaysia, right? So if Thunder qualifies, they might be able to actually get chocolate for the whole event.
Hey, it's not every day I can get shamans to bless my chocolate. It took me a lot of convincing.
I see.
Yeah, I had to learn a whole new language to get the shaman to speak to me.
They're busy, right? With all the shaman conventions and shaman classes.
Yeah, no, you think they'd be readily available, but apparently they're always busy with other jobs.
I mean, it's all about demand, right? There's not a lot of them, so I'm sure they're all busy blessing chocolates and other paraphernalia.
They're supposed to cut heads. That's what they're supposed to do. So I was always very surprised. But like, how do you have a job still? You know, like whose head are you cutting? But, you know, I don't want to ask that because maybe it was mine.
Radiant's
Don't want to
Yeah,
tempt fate. You know.
is under attack.
There you go. It's that's asking for trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Kamal was also asking for trouble as he's visiting Roche. He had this play last game where he's like, "Oh, guys, I'm so fast they can't catch me," and then he died. So it's important to keep that into account. take that into account. Sorry.
I don't think I actually wanted to ask anyone that knows stats. I don't think I've ever seen a Blink Dagger and Bloodseeker in my life, or like not as a like third item like this. Usually you see the yellow Blink Dagger, the Swift Blink. Blink Mjolnir BKB? Pretty rare.
Link Mjolnir BKB.
That is very inventive today.
Yeah.
Like he is definitely testing all of the boundaries. Oh, hello.
Berna. Berna got silenced by the Mindbreaker, forced to activate BKB, but he's still hit by the Rupture, so he can't really run. Pakas needs to blink away. Apparently, Berna's gonna activate the Wukong's command. Now, outside the Wukong's command, Berna running Rupture finally off. But Darkmago doesn't care about the Rupture. Darkmago wants Berna no matter what. Darkmago with a beautiful Yolza there avoids the stomp. Now finally hit by it. And Darkmago will be punished for this. Berna is capable of making out of here alive. They use the arena, and that's going to catch Berna as the backlines. As they also found Faker, and Faker's going to be killed off here. But the Bloodseeker might be the same fate. A Scatter Blast with a shard brings Pakas down. Pandamu still chasing after LTH. I'm not really sure who won this fight, but for now, as long as Mars is alive, it seems like Thunder has a little bit of an edge. The supports are now fighting to the death, the offlaners too. Each fighting against someone of their own size. Sacred just missed the God's Rebuke. He feels pretty bad about that. The Cloak of Flames did not trigger in time. And there's the Shard Scatter Blast once again. Centaur's capable of making out. LTH will not be so lucky though. It's 2 for 4, and the End Thunder do take the fight in their name.
What a crazy fight. It just started with like Monkey King randomly encountering the Bloodseeker in the jungle. It was rough. The early BKB, because he didn't have a lot of vision around, was really tough. Because he just BKB so he could 3-dance to run away. And that just hurt SG so much. Crazy, because I feel like in the game that SG won, Berna was feeling like he was hard carrying SG. He barely made any mistakes. But in this game, I don't think he's playing as crisp.
No.
Also, I didn't see a lot of times where SG could use the sidekick and drums on the Monkey King. I expected that they would get a fight where this Monkey King is just like right-clicking, life-stealing 100% of his damage. It never really clicked that much for them. Oh.
Yeah, it is. I don't feel like they're dealing too well with what the Rupture is accomplishing, to be honest. Like they seem to like activating Rupture. There we go. See, like they get the Wukong's command just to lose it immediately. Berna kept running away. They used a Stampede in the beginning of the Rupture. It was like a very odd choice.
Yeah, that's true. Like he was ruptured and he Stampede. Like I guess they wanted to get closer to the fight, but also
no, it feels weird for sure when you do that, because it's like, what's the goal of that play? What do you think if the Monkey King there just had to say like BKB and Wukong's command, it just seemed like a lot of disinformation, right? Because he seemed to want to fight in the circle for like half a second and then left immediately.
For sure.
Maybe it's a team communication thing, right? That they're having right now. Like this this game is much more hectic than the last one, and they're struggling to find their footing. Exactly.
I definitely think communication is not being crisp. Also, I wanted to point out, if you look into the Radiant jungle, on the right side of the outpost, there's a very sad Ogre Bruiser. He's just lost there.
What the hell?
Yeah, he got knocked down by Mars. That's his punishment. It's forever gonna be there, repenting his sins.
Until someone finds him, they're not gonna end his misery. He literally cannot walk out of that, huh?
Yeah, and he also blocks the camp at the same time, so he doesn't allow more nature to ever flourish. He's forever there, cursing himself and others.
So Ogre Bruiser is like a really salty pro player. Yeah, that's also a huge spawn box, by the way, on that camp. I've always forgotten that camp is the weirdest, biggest spawn box.
It's really weird. Smoke Gank, though?
Oh, Bloodlust. Yeah, alright. There's the Rupture used. Okay, they found the TP, but they have Bastion this time, so, BKB TP is not working against this Bloodseeker anymore. Which is trying to run away with those spider legs, but he's also been ignited, not ruptured. Force staffing the Mars forward. Dispose didn't really help Wage out, and he's going to die eventually to Pakas, who now settles for the Rook Shot.
That center doesn't look very tanky. It just melted. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a free Roche. They have buyback on Centaur, but no
Is
buyback
this a
on
second
Marcy.
Roche?
Yes, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, shard for Bloodseeker then? Yeah, okay, that's pretty huge actually. Because Bloodseeker in the late game struggles against Centaur because, you know, a lot of attacks speed, not enough damage. Centaur's return, or retaliate, sorry, hurts too much. But with Blood Rage, now with a shard, it fixes that completely.
Yeah, you literally become a better life stealer. What he always wanted to be, but can't be. Still kind of baffled by this Blink Dagger. I'm trying to understand why Pakaz decided to go this route.
Honestly, I think it's to avoid the Wukong's command. Like, you're able to blink over it and go for the backlines without having to deal with the Monkey King.
Yeah, I think so. Also, in the first game, Leshrek went for a very early blink. He does have one now on Dark Mago.
For Caudle.
Radiant's top
Yeah, I think he just wants to make sure he gets the Rupture. Even before Basher, if he forces the Caudle to TP away, they pretty much just win the fight because all the damage is on KXY.
We just missed the Boundless Strike. That should be the way to go. Matthew is actually amplifying his damage on the center so much. They forced the BKB, so trying to TP, Stampede, but he's still ruptured. Okay, there's the TP. They don't get a bash. Pakaz was unable to hit him. I do think that was a blind that was triggered there, but it doesn't matter for bash. So
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Still though, just slowly but surely, and they're Awaken marching forward. Time. OBKB
smoke.
on the
but this is a very frontline smoke, right? A spear kind of surprises the Monkey King. There's the arena as well. Monkey still stunned. He's gonna get burst too quickly. Bernaberna needs to recover here. Rupture's been used as well. Bernaberna in the middle of this fight. He's losing all his teammates, not dealing enough damage. Doesn't matter if you got the Jingu Master. He's done for. Everyone around him got destroyed too. Thunder finally took the fight they were looking for.
Yeah. There you go. That's just a panic smoke because they're 2 tier 2s and they're GGing out. They feel like they cannot come back, which I think are right.
I think they're right too. I think that wasn't panic smoke. I mean, the way they proposed that panic smoke was really weird, you know? Like the choice to go and like take him head on, but also go to the enemy high ground, you know, like where they're holding it. What do you think you're gonna accomplish with that?
Yeah. I really feel like at the end of the day, this was just a draft win by Thunder Awaken. The fact that SG could kill the enemy carry that many times, a lane dominator carry, and he can still just farm his way back into this game, just showcases that, like, SG just... It doesn't matter if you get kills, if you don't get Roche, if you don't get towers. And their draft is pretty bad at it. I still feel like, you know, a really good team could have won with SG's draft, but it's just really hard to execute. So if they want to force that Caudle so much in the mid lane, they just need an offlaner that forces objectives a bit more. Because it was just 10 minutes of Thunder Awaken farming.
I agree. I do feel like an important point that kind of came into play very later into the game, which you made really early, was the Decrepify amplified damage. I feel like Matthew and Panda, or Matthew and Sacred, were literally like bursting a hero from 100 to 0 with just Decrep plus 1 spell. You know, and it was kind of wild, and I feel like that really enabled Pakaz to go in and run with his thirst, right?
True, very true. Pakaz recovered really nicely. You know, he was 0-5 at some point, ended up 11-6, so only 1 death and 11 kills afterwards. Dark Mago, as always, the rock of this team. I think he played really well both games. He did what he had to do. And I don't know, this mid Caudle, you know, it can work. I just feel like they're forcing it too much. No reason to go for it again in game 2, I think.
Yeah, I think that Faker's playstyle of like the space creation works really well with these kind of heroes that like are very early game oriented. But I feel like with Caudle, it's really hard to find that middle ground where, I mean, you've seen Faker's Invoker, right? Like he goes Force Staff first, or like he goes like Solar Crest Force Staff, and he just is like a buffing Invoker and has only impact as a space creator. I feel like Caudle can't really be played that way as much as you want to, right? He needs the farm, and then you lose a lot of the Faker, you know, guarantee of I will secure your early game. Please carry my late game.
That's very true. I always saw him as this like space creator, space rock for the teams that he played.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the Kato doesn't like Kato can enable other heroes with chakra magic. I don't feel like they had those heroes as well. So
No,
also
you're right.
synergy problem there.
Well, we'll see what our panel has to say, Bowie, because I love your analysis, but, 2 heads sometimes are better than one. That's why we got Winter and Sexy Fat here on the call.
What a
See
big
they have to
head
say
on
about
Winter.
game number 2. I also have one that's big, so don't worry about
Okay.
it. That's the last thing Bowie gets to say. Okay, thank you, Bowie. Always appreciated. So, that game 2 went the way that you guys expected once again. Thunder Awaken. I mean, Winter, you said that there was a chance here that the Marcy could make a difference here. What do you think stopped that chance from happening in your eyes?
I think pretty much the same problem with the previous game. They did well on the lanes,
Yep.
but when the game came down to the point where you start to have to make movements around the map and using the smoke and the vision, they weren't really good at capitalizing on their advantage. And I felt like a point that you guys made with the Kotal needing to farm a lot, and the Monkey King he was trying to help create some space for the Kotal to get more
Yep.
farm, but it doesn't feel like it fits his playstyle. He's more like he likes to farm a lot more. That's why the movements are not so crisp in the early game.
Sexy Fat, what were your thoughts on that game? Do you feel like would you agree with that assessment that Winter says about the lack of crispness in their movements in the early game
Yeah.
particularly?
But the main thing for me is like I think if they want to stick with the Scotto mid, they should go for like more Zoo heroes, for example, Beastmaster, Visage, Lycan. Like both games, I really felt a lack of forcing objectives like so much.
True.
When they were playing ahead, they couldn't force stuff. If they were playing behind, like they couldn't fight, just farm and hope to not get like get killed around the map. So I just really felt if they want to stick with Koto, they need something to force objectives for them, because it really felt they have no, how can I say, clear objective in both games. They were just farming and waiting for something to happen in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate analysis, and I'd like to ask what Thunder Awaken thought about it as we're getting an interview ready. Before that, we'll take a small break and come back with one of the Thunder Awaken players in a quick interview. See you guys then.